Good afternoon, or welcome to this session of Module 2 of Tax Practice Academy. My name is Madabuchi Obina Emmanuel. I'm a partner with Obina Madabuchi and Co. And I want to welcome you to Module 2 of the Tax Practice Academy. And last session, we had Module 1 on the evolution of the Nigerian tax system, and we had some activity given to participants. And we are still expecting your response from those activities. However, today we are looking at tax policy for Module 2. And as I said, each module has its own activities. We also have Module 3 on tax administration, Module 4, tax computation. We have different modules which participants will go through and ensure that they have a solid tax foundation, and they could apply this skill in their current place of work, or they want to set up a tax practice. We'll give additional 5 minutes to those that are trying to join via Zoom to set up their system. I will give them like 5 minutes before we proceed with the class. Just 5 minutes. And we should remember that for those that missed the lecture, we have an e-learning site where they could go and they can go through the lectures again for those that couldn't make it. So we'll give 5 minutes for those that want to join the live session. Maybe they have one or two questions to ask. That's the benefit of the live session. So such question could be attended to immediately and resolved. So thank you for your patience, and in 5 minutes time, I will invite our facilitator for today's training. Thank you. Okay, it's 5:05 already, and the 5 minutes extra time has elapsed. So today we'll be looking at Nigerian tax policy, uh, of course, the national tax policy, and we'll be looking at the 2012 tax policy, and we'll be looking at also the 2017 tax policy and the impact on the Finance Act. So, why do we need to understand the tax policy? Because before any tax law is enacted, it's very important for the law to align with the tax policy. Okay, so if you understand the tax policy, one, you can advise your clients properly on how to position itself in order to, optimize or pay less taxes because you know the tax policy. Even before the law comes into play and approved, you already know how to position or advise your client better. That this is the sector the government want to encourage now. This is the sector the government wants to take taxes from now. Okay, that's why you understand the tax policy. And the tax policy is a key part of the fiscal policy in Nigeria. So myself and Akamo Idris, the reason why you need to understand the policy is to advise your client properly in terms of tax planning. And take note, there's tax planning opportunity in the tax policy. Tax planning opportunity, how can you reduce taxes, for your clients, for the government, is very key to understand that. So myself and Mr. Idris Akamo will be handling this section. Mr. Idris Akamo is a former and is a trained KPMG tax expert, tax and audit expert, and is one of our facilitator in Obama and Co. And is going to look at mainly the 2012 tax policy, and I will look at the 2017 tax policy and the implication on the Finance Act 2019 and 2020. Okay, and with that, we're going to have some question and answer session. I want you to enjoy the session. Thank you for listening. So at this point, I will invite Mr. Idris Akamo to deliver his presentation. Mr. Idris, are you with us?
Yeah, of course. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Mina, for your
Okay.
initial presentation. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the module 2 of the tax training. My name is Idris, like Obina has previously introduced. So, right now, I'll be looking at, we're talking about the national tax policy, which right now is what I would call a document around which every tax law that is being promulgated in the country, it's like the spirit behind the law. Because for you to say, oh, for government to say we are bringing up this law, there has to be a spirit behind the law. There has to be something that is guiding the law, and that's what the Nigerian tax policy is all about. And that's what we'll be looking at today. So, sometimes in 2012, when Madam Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was the finance minister, government came up with the actually performed the activity of putting the tax policy into a document. That was in 2012. But before then, sometimes in sometimes actually in 2002, that was when the discussion started about having a Nigerian tax, a national tax policy, and it was started by some groups in the private sector alongside the government. So it's like a public-private partnership, and it was the working group came together and brought up ideas based on the challenges and their experiences in the Nigerian tax industry at that point in time. And so that was what was used majorly to come up with several tax policies. So Obina, can you go to presentation mode on the slide?
Okay, so I will do that now.
Yes. And
Okay.
let's go to the next slide. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So like I was saying, those challenges, that the issues that tax industry in Nigeria was being faced with then, that led to the drafting of the national tax policy, where there's an increased demand to increase revenue from taxation. So the country has always been dependent on crude oil, and there was actually a drive to diversify the revenue stream of the government from just the sale of crude oil to also taxation. So there was that demand to increase revenue, and a lot of investors were being turned away because of multiple taxation. Oh, someone said they cannot hear me. Okay,
Can,
just
can you increase your volume, please? Can you speak up a bit?
okay. Is it better now? Like, I just try to shift my microphone closer. But is it better now, or is still the same, Madam Abibat?
Okay, you could, yeah, you could make it, you just add more voice to it. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You
But
could-
she said it's better now, so I believe she's speaking for everybody. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So as I was saying, the other issue is that a lot of investors were shying away from investing in the economy. Why? Because they'll bring their money from another country, and you pay tax in that country, and they will come and pay tax in Nigeria too. So there's issue of multiple double taxation. And beyond investors coming from outside the country, there was also issue of even we citizens um, tax on the same base on multiple fronts. So the state government is taxing you consumption tax, federal government is taxing you VAT on the same item that's been on the same item. Even local governments will charge you. You just be traveling, and people will stop you on the road, and they will give you some form of levies, call it highway tax. So there were those multiple taxations regime, and it was becoming an issue, and that was one of the reasons why the tax policy was drafted. Then there were also not sufficient information for the government, so information about taxpayers. And the truth is, if you don't have information on who is paying tax. How do you want to plan? How do you want to make government's revenue budget? And how do you want to know what the base you are taxing? So